I try to begin each year with sitting down, especially with our new students, to tell you about some things that have happened during the summer. They'll tell you about some things that might be happening over the next few months, and to prepare you for some things that will probably happen before you finish your tenure here. We took on so many projects this summer. I think it's the first time since I've been here that we just flat didn't get them all done. And, you know, we did the best we could. But there were some things that we simply had to get done. For example, we didn't have enough classrooms, so we had to convert our former student center into a classroom building. We had to do that in about 3 months. Most of it was done in 1 month because we couldn't start until the bookstore moved. But now, you walk in today, some of you probably had classes today in the old student center. Hopefully, before we finish with that facility, there'll be about 9 classrooms. And it'll certainly give our art department and modern languages and some of our other programming the space that they need to teach. We did something that some people would consider strange, but I'm a little strange, so I think it's okay. We moved the bookstore off campus. And we did it for 2 reasons. One is we needed the new teaching space, so we needed the room, so we needed to move the bookstore so we could have classrooms. But our little town could use a little help. And that old building that we moved the bookstore to, that entire strip was completely empty for a long, long time. So we've leased out the whole thing. And we put, of course, not only the bookstore, we put the mail room there as well. And we subleased the end piece, which is the piece nearest the campus where a Pizza Hut will be opening there very soon, which will be pretty close by. Might even deliver to your room, I don't know about that. But we felt like it was important for us to kind of help the little town get jump-started there with some retail space. The town plans to build right behind that space a new city center, which will probably start in the next few months. It'll have a new fire department and police station and town hall and all those kinds of things that small towns have. But there'll be a lot of building along Main Street going forward. There's a lot of conversation right now about some retail space being built on the first floor and with some apartment-style housing on the second floor because we need a lot more housing for our grad professional students. But I hope it's not a terrible inconvenience for you to go to the bookstore. If it becomes a problem, we'll put a few kiosks for the bookstore around campus so that you don't have to go over there for every little thing. But I hope you will go over and spend some time. They worked awfully hard on that this summer. For a long time, I love our little town, but I have to really stay after them. I'm always trying to get them to build more sidewalks. We finally worked out a deal with the state of North Carolina. They agreed to build a lot of sidewalks around town, and they were so slow getting them built, we asked if we could build them and they could just pay us back when they get the money, which is what they're doing. But all these new sidewalks that appeared, some since you've been here, are just we want to make this more of a pedestrian campus. We took the road, what you now call the promenade, that was a highway 2 years ago. And we took all that out because we want our students to be able to walk to the cafeteria and walk to the library and walk to visit with friends and other housing units around. But you don't need to drive your car to the cafeteria or drive your car here or there. You could just walk, and that way you can spend a lot more time getting to know other people on campus, and besides it saves a lot of costs for you and also makes our environment a lot cleaner. 2 projects we didn't get finished this summer, and I'm really disappointed about those. As we're making a couple of new additions to the art programming here. About 1999, I guess it was the late spring of 1999, we opened the Bat Center. Before then, the only auditorium we had on campus was this one. Well, this works fine for a group like this, but when you've got 20 people at a piano recital, this room's a little large. So we built that building, which gave us two more nice houses, one of 540 seats, one 176 seats. And that building has served us so well. And when we built it in 1999, everybody kept asking me, why are you building such a large building? You will never use that building. Well, now we're making an addition onto the building. But we broke ground on it, and we had a little trouble with our architect, got behind. And so that project will start up very soon now. You know, there's about a half dozen. Any of you who have parents in the construction business, you'll know that you got all these approvals you have to get from the town and from the county and from the state and everybody else to build anything anymore. And so we're waiting on a couple of approvals, but we're going to be adding a lot more rehearsal space for our music students as an addition onto the Bat Center. And just beside that, just south of that, there's another building which will be an art museum. Unknown to many people, we have a beautiful art collection here. But we have to put it up and take it down and put it up and take it down, and that's not good for the art, and it's pretty hard work as well. So we're going to have an art museum, and it's going to be broken into 3 galleries, and our permanent collection will be on display there. We have several galleries around campus where students can have art shows, but we need a place to put our art up so that it can be seen by people in this region and as well as by you. You know, the young children of this area, well, from within 25 miles of where I'm sitting, they're never going to the museums in downtown Charlotte. That's simply not going to happen. It's nice they're there, and I get to go over occasionally. I enjoy them. But the children here, their first introduction to the arts is always at Wingate. And we think it's very important that they be able to see great sculptures and great paintings, and we have a lot of them in our collection. And so the new art museum will be built. It'll certainly be ready before the end of this school year, so you'll be able to enjoy that later this year. We're going to make another small housing addition. We'll have about 96 beds. That's the plan right now. And it will be, most of you know where, or some of you live in there, where Cannon Dorm is. Between Cannon Dorm and the cafeteria, and that little area there's a beautiful sculpture there now, which will be moved to another location. We're going to put a wing there, another wing of the Cannon building like is on the other side. And it will house 96 students, and construction will be starting on that very soon as well. The big news for you, and this hopefully will get done in time for your senior year, but we're going to build a monstrosity of a building. We have a beautiful arena that you'll enjoy for basketball and other events. But behind the arena is the old building called Sanders Sykes, which for many years served the institution as the place where they played basketball and now it's used for intramurals. We're going to take all that away. That's just east of Smith Dorm. We're going to take that entire building away, the one with the funny looking arches on it. No, it's going to go away, and right there is going to be built a huge building. It's going to be a health, recreation, and wellness center. And it's going to be a place for healthy food choices. It's going to be a place for healthy lifestyles. It's going to be a place where you can go and enjoy recreation. And it's just going to be a fabulous, fabulous building. We're dealing with the architects right now. We're very close to finishing up the what we want included in the building. And then we'll be hiring a builder, and the building architect will be working on the plans to build exactly what we want. Part of that will also be an enhancement of Cuddy Arena, where we play basketball and volleyball now. But the main thing is, you know, we want you to develop healthy lifestyles while you're here. When I was in college, you know, almost all of us came from rural North Carolina, and we lived a pretty healthy lifestyle. We got up early, we worked late. Some worked on the farms, worked in the textile mills, and we kept pretty busy, and everybody was pretty healthy. Everybody ate well. Nobody used tobacco, nobody drank. And then we went to college. Nobody went to sleep, too much drinking, too many cigarettes. That's back before everybody knew cigarettes would kill you. And so many people developed horrible lifestyles that I think resulted in early death, lots of very unhealthy living for many years. And you all are a lot smarter than us. There's a lot more information available now than there was back then. And we want to make sure that while you're here, you develop even healthier lifestyles than maybe you grew up with or been living, because we want you to live a healthy life and be with us for a long, long time. But this is going to be a fabulous building. We're anticipating it will be probably somewhere between the size of the Smith building and the health science building. So it's going to be quite a facility. Hopefully it's also going to have a very nice aquatic center. It's right now we're pipe dreaming a lot, but the reality will strike when we start trying to figure out what it's going to cost. But it will be about a 20-month project, so it'll be quite a project, but it'll make your institution a much more fun place, I think. The one thing I hear from students, especially freshmen, is I am ready to be treated like an adult. Do you ever feel that way? You know, our moms and dads do so much for us, sometimes more than we want them to. You know, we start when we're about this big saying, Mama, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, but they keep doing things for us. Well, now you've got an opportunity. I always say you've been screaming for freedom since the first day you pulled up in the crib. Well, you got it. You have more freedom right now than probably you're ever going to have again in your life. Your college years are times for fun, relaxation, meeting a lot of great people, doing your studying, going to class, but it's a lot more than just the academic side. There's the growing side socially and developing friendships that I promise you will last a lifetime. But as I tried to say to you yesterday in the opening convocation address, if you want to be treated like an adult, you've got to act like an adult. Because we're not going to tell you to go to class every day. I'm not going to come ring your doorbell and knock on your door and say, hey, you got an 8 o'clock class. You know, we're expecting you to make adult decisions and do the things you need to do. I don't live here. You know, I work here. I come to work in the mornings. I leave in the evenings. I live about 5 miles out in the country out here. That's my home. For the next 4 years or more, this is your home. You need to protect it. You need to take care of it. Don't trash it. Look after one another. Because I really try hard by 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometimes to be out of here and at home. And then it's up to you and the people who work in the residence halls. It's your city, your town then. And you've got to take care of one another and act like adults, because nobody's going to be out here holding your hand. You've got to take care of business yourself. As a rule of thumb, and I know I had those professors, I understand, some require a lot more than others. But I always found in my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and my doctoral degree, if I would put in about 2 hours in a class for every hour I was in class, I did fine. If my class met for an hour and I studied for 2 hours, I'd be fine. You know, even if you do that here, remember in high school, so long ago, back last spring, when you went to school, 7, 8 hours a day? Most of your days here, you'll go to school 2 to 4 hours a day. Maybe some really tough days, 5 hours a day. You go to school 4 hours a day. You have 20 hours. Surely to goodness you can find a few hours to study. Make sure you take care of your business. You're going to be given a syllabus in every class. You got some already, I'm sure. And once the professor gives you that syllabus, you might never hear a word about it again. And then about midterm, they're going to turn to you and say, where is your paper? And you're going to say, what paper? The paper that was in your syllabus. I told you about in your syllabus. Oh, don't lose those. They're going to guide you through your classes. Again, nobody's going to look over your shoulder. Everybody's going to assume you're doing your work. You got to have quizzes. Like I told my grandson, who was complaining the other day about having it. Granddaddy, give us too many tests. Tests? Yeah, anyway, yeah, they just give us, I like school, but give us too many tests. I said, do you know why they give you all those tests? It's to find out how good your teachers are. And I think about that here. Usually when a professor gives you a quiz, what they're trying to find out is, am I teaching them the things they need to know? Of course, you get the grade, but in their mind, they get the grade as well. Because if half the class makes 65, they look back and say, gee whiz, I didn't do a very good job. I got to go back over that section. But you're going to have those things. You got to have some basis for whether you meet the requirements in the class or not. But I want you to understand that when they're doing those things, they aren't being mean-spirited. And you know and I know that you'll go 3 weeks and not have a test. You'll have 4 tests the same week. Happens all the time. Happened when I went to school in 1910. But that's going to happen. But they're just doing it to find out, am I getting the message across? Is the student learning? How can I do a better job? How can I make sure they know what they need to know before I give them a grade and say they've done well enough in this class to pass? Because that's how you progress through the system. I cannot imagine a place of higher education anywhere that has as many opportunities for help. Every single year, we have outstanding students come here and fail, every year. We have students who didn't do so well in high school who will come here and knock the top out. But the main reason they do is because they take the help that's available. You know, I've worked at this is my 4th university where I worked. I have never worked anywhere where it is so difficult to fail. If you want to fail, we can't stop you. You can do it. But there are so many things in place here to help you do well. You've got RAs, you've got academic advisors, many of you have coaches. If you have any problem in any class, all you have to do is go to the Academic Resource Center in the library and say the following words: I need help in Biology 100. And they'll say, well, we got a tutor right here. And the tutor will come over and help you. It doesn't cost a dime. It's free. Because sometimes we've had students who are outstanding in biology who will come and tutor students in biology. And while they're there, somebody tutors them in English. Because none of us are A students in every single thing without a little bit of help. The help is there, and it works. I cannot tell you how many students that I have personally sent to the Academic Resource Center since I've been here, and they went from C students to B students almost overnight. The help is there. You pay for it. It's all part of your tuition. Take advantage. It's not a bad thing to ask for help. You'll be glad you did. They will be glad you did. And it'll help make sure that in 4 years you have a happy experience in our academic quadrangle. You've probably heard this term a few times already, lyceums. And if you've just come into this building twice the last 2 days to listen to me. You've got two. The requirements for lyceums are not very strenuous, but it's a very important part of what we do. Because again, as I said yesterday, you've got to open up your hearts and open up your minds to new things. And perhaps you go to a lyceum that's a musical, and you might find, hey, that was really fun. You might find that going to a lecture about someone who has spent the last 2 years in the Amazon, in the jungles of Brazil, you might find that would be interesting. But you have to actually walk across campus and go and sit and listen. But we provide all these programs for you, and we require you to go to a few while you're here. I guess it roughly breaks out to about 10 a year. And I always laugh when students say to me, well, I'm sorry I didn't get all my lyceums, but gee, Dr. McGee, I'm busy. Is that right? Well, I got a news flash for you. I'm busy too. I got a pretty hard job. It requires a lot of hours. Last year, if I had been counting, I would have personally had 22 lyceums. Just for things that I came to because I wanted to come. And we roughly expect you to get about 10 a year. If I can get 22 a year, you can probably get 10 a year. And to show you how important it is, at the end of the day, 5 or 6 years ago now, we had a young woman who was graduating. She'd been working in one of our offices, and she was graduating from Wingate. And we had a job that we thought would be perfect for her skill set. So we interviewed a lot of people, including her, and she was by far the top choice. And when we got her academic records, we saw that with 2 weeks left in school, she was 14 lyceums short. No way she was going to graduate. So guess what? She didn't get the job. And it took her almost a year coming back at night and getting special permission to go to things in Charlotte before she ever got her degree. Don't let that happen. Be an adult. You've got to get 10. I've given you 2 in 2 days. And I'm not going to keep you here long tonight at that. Most lyceum programming will last 50 minutes to an hour and a half. You got to get 10 a year. Don't get behind, because it happens every single year. I am really glad you're here. We're happy you chose Wingate, and we're going to have a great year together, so enjoy your time.